Welcome to HeroQuest fans. It is Friday, and we are about to get started with Mage of the Mirror. Shout out, as always, to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio for the music. Check his stuff out on YouTube. We use it a lot. Also, thanks to Elviler and everybody else who has contributed to this channel to make it what it is, both on YouTube and on Twitch, where things originally air live. And today we expect that this may, depending on how things go, be the final installment of HeroQuest Mage of the Mirror. Now, famous last words and all that, but I see we have Glasgow Gargoyle with us. Welcome. I would have been very
How's it
disappointed
going?
if you hadn't showed up today. It's going great. Going great. I
You
suppose
know,
we.
the final quest night of Mage of the Mirror is more important to me than Scotland versus Germany in the European Championships.
What was that going on? Shows how much I know.
That's kicking off right now in Munich.
Dang. Oh, the sacrifices that he made for us.
Yeah,
A hero, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you can always watch it on the replay, right? I mean, you can watch us on the replay too, but you can't participate on the replay. So there you go.
yeah, exactly.
You had someone else place the bets for you ahead of time, though, right? Your bookie, it's all set. Don't have
To
to
be
worry.
honest, I'm not that much into football.
All right. Yeah. You bring the snacks so everybody else watches. That's how it goes. I'm just joking. Um, hey, Bohemius, welcome. Here we are at the end of
Hello.
all things. Not the end of all things. The end of some things, maybe. We'll see. Allegedly. So before we get started on this potentially last leg of the journey, because you'll all be destroyed, of course. Um, maybe. What do you guys think of the news that the apparently the AI cover is real for First Light, HeroQuest First Light?
Very disappointed that it's real.
Yeah,
Okay.
little cringeworthy. I mean, remember how upset people were about D&D? It's like I get the fact that if you have art, I mean, they say art is subjective. If it looks cool to you and it sells products, what's the problem? But then there's always the thought that is this putting talented artists, in the back burner? Is this going to leave like really goofy things on the box as you look more closely? I mean, I've no problem with it being used for like prototyping or just to get people's attention, viral marketing. But yeah, to actually be the final thing that you're going to see in the store, it's kind of weird. Oh well. I don't mind the style though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the throwback
apparently
style.
already happened with exactly Dungeons and Dragons and the Magic the Gathering. I mean, they already use the
Yeah,
AI.
it's
Okay,
all within the
they're trying,
company. Yeah, it's all within the
but
company. But
I
Avalon
mean,
Hill
they promised
hadn't.
to the D&D community to not do it, but they didn't promise it yet to the
Yeah. So
HeroQuest community.
I mean,
So
people complain a lot. Maybe we won't do it in the future. And I know that companies will try to weasel out of it by saying, well, we only used AI for part of it. So you generate something in AI and then you kind of tweak it afterwards, or you make a artwork that's just okay and then you run it through AI to jazz it up.
it's not bad. Okay, it needs a little bit more tweaks.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah, I think if the unfortunate situation with the Chestal region of the barbarian and the elf, uh, maybe fix that, maybe fix the dwarf shield. I don't have a problem with the unrealistic musculature. I mean, you could say that that's true of all their cartoony things. Maybe with the way the elf is holding her sword looks a little off, but I mean the composition isn't bad. I mean the style isn't bad. I mean, do they look too much like Tom Cruise and the members of Thor's entourage from the MCU movie? Maybe, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe folks like us aren't the target audience here. Maybe there's something stylistic about it that they think will be more appealing to their target.
Could be. Although I kind of feel like it's almost the opposite. Uh, that the sort of like throwback 90s high fantasy art is what the old folks like us would want. And then the new fans, the new potential fans, would be more drawn to the cartoony artwork that we've been seeing thus far. But who knows? I'm not a marketing genius. I don't know. Maybe they've done some research and decided, yeah, this tests better. This is going to get people's attention more. It's going to sell more copies and benefit the franchise overall. So who might argue with that, right? As long as they're not being deceptive
I mean,
about it.
I wonder if it will double as an expansion or whether it will be, for people like us, perhaps we'll get it merely to be completionists. Will it double up as an expansion of some sort?
Well, if what I've heard is correct, I know some of the things that I had heard are being confirmed in these media reports, like Game Rant, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, to be fair, some of those are Avalon Hill themselves speaking, whereas other ones are reporters that must have gotten some insight. There is going to be new content in it. So there's going to be new quests. I heard new sculpts for monsters. So that alone, you would think, would draw us, not just to say, well, here's another HeroQuest product and I bought it, but there's nothing else new about it. It's even more so than Spirit Queen's Torment, Prophecy of Telor, where they just changed the colors around and, fixed some of the typos. Like, there's new content. Now, I could imagine someone saying, well, I just won't buy it. I'll wait until the PDFs get released and I'll just play the quests using my game system, because there's going to be nothing in here mechanically different than what I already have. Although, one of the articles did say new abilities, and another one said simplified gameplay mechanic. And I was like, what? Simplified gameplay? It's already simplified. What are you talking about? Like, or are they just talking about like, oh, it doesn't have roll to move is, unthreatened movement is in there, or I don't know what else. The combat is already pretty simple. How could you simplify it? Just say the monster automatically dies when you run into it? You flip a coin instead of rolling a die, or I just don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. Also, what about the boards? I mean, are we talking about are they going to be board tiles rather than a game board?
We still don't know what the board solution is. I think that is a pretty logical guess. I mean, assuming the box is not just just slightly smaller than the 2022 box. But every single article has shown the same picture of that same box. And I think a lot of people are imagining, oh, that's the same size as the big expansion box, like the Frozen Horror box as opposed to the Keller's Keep box. But it might not be. It might be taller, wider. But yeah, you would think the board is so huge in Remake HeroQuest that they would have to either fold it more, make it a poster, or make it tiles. I think the tiles solution would work really well, because they could have... I mean, I've got a 3D printed board that's like that, where I've just got a plastic tile of each room. And the corridor sections, like the segments of the corridors, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 squares at a time, are each a tile. So if they put all that in a box, you could assemble the board. And yeah, you could recreate the board to play all of the expansions for HeroQuest, because that's what they've actually advertised that several times. It'll be compatible with all the expansions. But you could also rearrange it to make your own adventure that would be completely unique. You could overlay those tiles on top of the game board, like Jacer was saying. So maybe in that sense, it could function as an expansion, even more so than just buying 2 game systems, as Bardic Broadcast would have us do. You buy 3 so you can have Gravity World, or whatever the other joke was. Yeah. So I guess what we're hearing so far, I mean, sounds like it. The only disappointment so far is that it sounds like they may not be doing anything to the art. It may just be what we've seen already as final. I mean, maybe the general public, maybe it's just us hardcore fans that complain about that. Maybe the general public doesn't really care about that AI issue and won't even notice. I mean, that's quite possible. And maybe they're banking on that. Apparently on social media, on Instagram, people are bashing the company for doing that. It might be too late though, for all we know, right? I mean, the latest was that they're going to tell everyone at Gen Con when and where you can buy it. Which is interesting, because normally they would say, well, they're going to announce pre-orders. But if, as we've suspected this whole time, it's something that you're going to be able to buy in a store, which seems kind of the whole point, then they just say, yeah, it's going to be available at stores on this date. You know, and it's not a limited time release. There've been speculation about it being a Target exclusive. I mean, I said Target based on what my source was saying, but he never said, the source, the anonymous source, never said Target exclusive, just said Target. So people pointed out Jaws of the Lion was a Target exclusive for 6 months, and then it went to other stores. Now, if that's what they mean, I don't have a problem with exclusive. When I hear exclusive, I think the Guardian Knight, and I think, oh man, I don't want that again. Like they basically promised not to do that to us. So let's hope that's not it. But so far, there haven't been any statements in any of the official articles about it being limited time, about it being exclusive, or even store exclusive.
It doesn't seem logical to me that it would be exclusive. I mean, if they're trying to bring in new players, wouldn't they want it to be, across all retail?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, do these companies always follow logic, though? but yes, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with it, which is that, yeah, if they want it to be more accessible, like people already know HeroQuest exists. People can already buy HeroQuest. People that want it have already bought it. But there's tons of people that don't know about it or don't know what it is, or, like the articles are saying, see it, see the price tag, and go, I don't know. I don't know if I want to try it. I mean, it's one thing if they go to a game store and they get a free demo of it and go, wow, this is great. I'm gonna ask Santa for this for Christmas. But yeah, if it's only $50, let's say, and it's just sitting there right on the shelf and you can flip it over and look at it, that could win a lot of people over. And yeah, if it's not just one store, because Target is not the only store in the world. I mean, there's other stores that are just as big, just as popular. You know, Walmart, Best Buy, and then you've got other countries. What, EB Games? EB Games is a store, isn't it? It's not just an online seller. I don't know all the different places. Like Glasgow, what's a big retail store where you come from?
Okay, so I mean, for example, Walmart in the States is kind of partnered with or owned, or we have Asda here in the UK, which is part of the Walmart group.
Oh, really? Okay.
We have Tesco, which is kind of big. There's Morrison's. These are kind of big stores. I'm guessing that perhaps one of these big stores in the UK has got links with Target, but that's just a guess. I don't know.
So there may be other deals that are being made as we speak that would facilitate that for other places. Because otherwise, I could just imagine stores getting sold out. People scalping.
Yeah, because I remember
it out to other countries.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. For example, Star Wars produce that was that was Walmart exclusive was also available in Asda here in the UK.
Asda, yeah. Yep. And Jacer's here. Welcome. We were just doing a little pre-game talk here about the First Light revelations. I mean, I know when I posted my stuff, I couldn't back it up with anything. So people were skeptical of the things that I was saying. And a few things have not been confirmed yet officially. And a few things people are still skeptical, thinking, well, maybe the reporter misunderstood it or whatever. I mean, things do change. Sometimes you get an article and they'll change the date in the article, like a few hours after it gets posted. I mean, that sort of thing happens. And I mean, I could always claim, well, my source only knew about an early stage of the project and it changed. And so then I get to not be wrong, but I'm really wrong. I mean, I was definitely wrong about the Target reveal. I was with those who was thinking, oh yeah, the the Target sales event this morning was going to be some kind of announcement. I mean, there was an announcement of PureQuest First Light, but it wasn't on the Target page. It was on these other sites.
It was just a weird coincidence.
Yeah. It's like saying there's a huge sale going on at the store that we heard is connected, and then yeah.
It was the timing, exactly. Because
yeah, the timing. So
give us exactly
so Neo
the timing wrong.
Neo custom miniatures vlog on YouTube. If I ever said anything negative about you, I take it back, because I think there were some people that were just like, this guy's a fake, this guy's a fraud, he's gonna fool us. I even thought it for a few seconds, like maybe he's just tricking us, because he would post something and then he would delete it. He'd post something and then he would change it. It's just like, is he just doing this for clicks? What? But turns out he was right. The stuff that he posted was accurate. It's more like. All right, welcome back to HeroQuest fans. I think we were just having some technical issues. It is Friday, and it's time for us to do Mage of the Mirror. Yeah. So, other thoughts about First Light or about the Sapphire Skull?
Yeah, do we have any inkling yet as to what the First Light reference is?
Nope. All the stuff that you wanted to know.
That's still a mystery.
Yeah. Other than just some generic, first, like it's the first quest, the first adventure for some people who are buying it for the first time.
Well, the cover depicts at dawn.
Mm-hmm. It takes place at dawn. There you go.
Yeah, at dawn. Yeah, it takes place at dawn. You can see the light from behind. The only thing they really can be mentioned about the light.
It starts off with Mentor lighting up his pipe, so contains tobacco references. That's why it's 14
yeah, I thought it might be something a little bit more subtle.
Yeah. He's like, what? You thought this was proprietary? Winks into the camera. Like, no, please. Ribby! With the John Cena. And I didn't hear it at all. Okay. Yeah, I like the in-jokes that they insert into it. I mean, Joe's jokes were a little bit on the nose. But I mean, I think his was intended for a very small audience compared to what we're thinking of here. But my sense is, though, at least the concept of First Light was still around before the layoffs. But I also get a sense that it wasn't completed yet. So it's one of those things where it's like, how much, was pre-planned and how much has changed. How much was imposed upon them from above and how much was their own work. I mean, I'm sure they were given strictures to work within, because that's what you do at a company. You don't just do whatever you want if you want to keep your job, usually. Unless you're given complete creative freedom, but you're not given unlimited budget, so you still got to work within that. You got deadlines and things. I got ripped off. You think all this gold grows on trees? Yeah. Well, they raised it. I didn't do that, but they raised it to 1,000, and I lowered it to 500. All right. Let me see if I can appease Ribby here. I made it 500 so people wouldn't use it. Did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding. Just gonna check. Of course, I also think that every time Sound Alerts updates their website, it resets certain things. And unless I keep track of that, I'm not gonna know that happened. All right, I'm just gonna do a little sound test here. It's back to 1,000. All right, let's test it out.
His name is John C.
Oh. Okay, that sounded really terrible. Did you guys hear that?
And his name is John C. And his name is John C.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this.
His name is John C.
Okay, nobody do the sound alerts. There's something wrong with them. They're not playing in full quality for some reason. All right, thanks for the subscription, Bohemius. Okay, guys, I think we're in a good place. We're dropping some frames, but not very many. So let's get into the game. So yeah, we were just talking a little bit about Hero Quest First Light, and not really much about Jungles of Delthrak. Jungles of Delthrak, we have the Sapphire Skull. It doesn't sound that exciting. It just, you could attack with it from a distance, which might make it something that maybe the Berserker could use, because he normally can't use ranged attacks. That's what people are kind of thinking, maybe. All right, let's get rid of the screen here.